Autumn's magical tales come alive like golden leaves dancing on the wind. They whisper about dreamy wishes and tiny smiles that shine like stars waking up at dusk. Let autumn hold your hand and, in its warm and quiet voice, share its sweetest and most tender stories. The magic of autumn leaves. As the air turned cool and crisp, the trees began to change. Leaves that had been green all summer slowly turned bright colors, red, orange, and yellow, before they floated down to the ground, swirling in the wind. Birds, once carefree in the warmth of summer, began to prepare for their long journey south, gathering in flocks and chirping farewell to the changing season. The children, with their faces turned to the sky, were waving to the birds and butterflies, promising to meet again in the spring. In the meadows, the bees were busy collecting nectar from the last flowers of the season. They worked hard, knowing that soon there wouldn't be any more flowers to visit. Insects scuttled under leaves, preparing for the coming cold, while squirrels raced around, collecting acorns and nuts and storing them in their cozy burrows. Rabbits hopped through the tall grass, nibbling on the last bits of green before everything froze over. Foxes, whose fur was thickening, padded quietly through the forest, their eyes sharp for any sign of food. Hedgehogs tumble through autumn's falling leaves, only to curl beneath the tiny armor of spikes whenever the wind whispers too wildly. Deer grazed quietly in the fields, keeping their heads low to the ground. They were used to the change of seasons, but they always felt the difference when autumn arrived. Mice scampered beneath the trees, collecting seeds, while ants marched in long lines, carrying food to their underground homes. The world was buzzing with the quiet hum of preparation. The warmth of summer was fading, and the air smelled of pumpkins, apples, and cinnamon. It was harvest time, time to gather the fruits from the trees and carve pumpkins. The world was slowing down, getting ready for the cold months ahead. But there was something special about autumn too. It was a time to gather with family, share meals and enjoy the beauty of the changing world around them. No matter how cold it got, everybody knew that the world would always change, and that with every passing season, there would always be something new to look forward to. Meadow School begins. The summer sun was beginning to yawn, stretching its golden arms one last time across the meadow. Leaves twirled gently from the trees, like sleepy dances, and the birds in the sky sang their goodbye songs as they flew south. Deep in the golden grass, Little Bear stood on a rock and called out happily. School is starting soon. On the first cool morning, when the last butterflies and sunlight said goodbye to summer, Miss Feathers sat beneath a tree with branches swaying in the breeze. Her soft green wings fluttered as she rang the school bell and smiled. Welcome to school, little learners, she chirped, with a twinkle in her eye. In the cozy classroom made of logs and vines, a bigger student read a story to the class. It was all about summer adventures, catching fireflies, building forts, and swimming in the river. The little ones listened with wide eyes, already dreaming of their own tales to tell one day. Beneath a tall tree that rained red and gold leaves like confetti, Bunny, Monkey, and Little Tiger were learning numbers and letters. A is for acorn, giggled Bunny. The birds above chirped cheerful songs, as if saying, good luck, little ones, before flying far, far away. In the middle of the day, it was time for biology. The children looked closely at beetles, mushrooms, and even a tiny frog. Why do mushrooms grow in the shade? Kitty asked. Do frogs blink? Wondered Amy. Miss Feathers chuckled. Keep asking, that's how we learn. As the sky turned dusky and cool, Little Lamb looked up with sparkly eyes. She was learning about stars and constellations. That one is called Pisces, said Miss Feathers, pointing with her wing. We are in the time of Pisces now. Isn't that special? Wow, they are all so bright, shouted Little Lamb. In art class, Jenny dipped her brush and painted Bunny's sweet face with a pink nose and long ears. Her sister, Lily, painted a big golden field with trees wearing crowns of leaves. Your sky looks like it's dancing, whispered Jenny. It's just how I see it, Lily smiled. In the school's garden, Annie, a curious girl, found a dandelion glowing in the sun. She gently blew its fluffy puffs into the air. Look, it's snowing seeds, she giggled. The class watched them float like tiny stars, drifting to new places to grow. Then, it was music time. A tiny boy, named Danny, tapped on his handmade drums with great big grins, while Miss Chirp strummed a tiny guitar with her wings. Everyone clapped, danced, and sang. Even the wind seemed to hum along as it rustled the leaves outside. When the classes ended, the children walked home in a cozy breeze that smelled like pumpkin pie and sweet grapes. The last golden leaves swirled around their feet. I can't wait to tell Mama, said Maria. Me too, her big brother giggled. Tomorrow we'll learn more. As night fell, each young student nestled into their worm bed, a storybook in hand. Pages turned softly, pencils lay beside half-finished thoughts, and sleepy eyes blinked one last time. I love school, whispered little Luna. The stars twinkled gently above, like teachers watching from the sky. And soon, they all drifted off to dreamland. The whispers of autumn. In the soft light of early September, children danced through the meadows, and their crystal-clear laughter floated like butterflies. With crowns woven from yellow chrysanthemums and arms full of daisies, they gazed in wonder at the last flowers of the season, delicate petals like a whisper, glowing in the sun's warm smile. They knew these flowers were nature's goodbye kiss, before the whole world would change once more. Then, almost unnoticed, the days began to shorten. Mornings grew cooler, and evenings darker. The wind resumed its playful mischief, swaying the tree branches like an old, forgotten waltz. The sun, once a mighty ruler in the sky, slowly dimmed its light, letting the evenings settle in earlier and earlier. The leaves turned into golden coins and coppery shadows, falling gently to the ground like secrets from the sky. Rain began to visit more often, tiptoeing over the fields, replacing the bright days with a hush of grey. In the heart of the woods, the animals grew busy and restless. Squirrels scurried with chubby cheeks full of acorns, and hedgehogs rustled through the underbrush, gathering autumn treasures. Even the shy deer moved with purpose, all gathering what they could for the long winter. In the delta, the last elegant storks and cranes stretched their wings to the sky, their long-legged silhouettes vanishing toward warm southern lands. Ducks splashed and chatted, enjoying their last swims before the great journey. Swallows soared high into the sky, singing their farewells in trills and playful circles, drawing invisible ribbons in the gentle autumn air. The last butterflies, fragile and brave, danced beneath the gentle sunbeams, playing hide and seek among the leaves, knowing their time was short but still choosing joy. Meanwhile, some birds like wise sparrows, clever magpies and tiny wrens, chose to stay, fluffing their feathers and readying their songs for winter's hush. And as the world slowly turned its golden page, people too wrapped themselves in cozy scarves and warm scents. They began to welcome autumn's gentle soul, the crackle of leaves underfoot and the joy in the rustle of the new season. With hearts open wide, they learned once again that every ending is just another kind of beginning. The magic apple of Autumn Park. One crisp autumn morning, a little girl named Millie set off to visit her grandparents, gently holding a few small flowers she had picked especially for her granny. To reach their cozy cottage, she had to walk through Autumn Park, a place where golden leaves danced like poetry in the breeze and the trees whispered stories of the changing seasons. As Millie wandered beneath the colorful canopy, a gentle old tree suddenly shook its branches and dropped a shining apple into her hands. "This magic apple will help you understand the forest," the tree whispered softly. Curious, Millie took a bite, and suddenly, the chirps, squeaks, and rustles of the park turned into clear, friendly voices. Just then, tiny creatures peeked out from behind mushrooms and fallen leaves. A pair of squirrels with bushy tails and bright, clever eyes chatted excitedly, their paws full of acorns. A family of birds, feathers glinting like tiny jewels, fluttered above her in graceful arcs. And a shy hedgehog, his spines tipped with fallen leaves, blinked up at her with gentle curiosity. "Can you help us gather food for the winter?" the animals asked in soft voices. Millie smiled warmly. Together, they collected nuts, berries, and seeds, laughing as they worked. She learned how every small gift helped the forest prepare for the cold months ahead. When she finally said goodbye, the animals thanked her warmly. Millie felt her heart glow with happiness, knowing kindness had created a special bond. And from that day on, she always remembered, helping others, big or small, is the greatest magic of all. Thank you so much for sharing these wonderful adventures with us. We hope they made your heart feel autumn bright. Don't forget to like, share with friends, and subscribe for more magical moments.